Hey everybody, this is Ask the Pastor. My name's Ryan, and I answer questions from the internet about theology and life and really anything anybody wants to send me. I got this question from Worldwide Fairness while we were in a discussion about the Westboro Baptist Church. He asks, "What flavor of Bible are you?" I think that's a really fun question. It's an interesting way to phrase it, of course. It's a kind of quirky way to ask the question, but I think, and Worldwide Fairness, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think what you're trying to ask is, of all the different kinds of Bible believers in the world, of all the different flavors of Christianity, which one do I belong to? And that's actually kind of a complicated question and also kind of an easy question. The easy answer is I'm a part of the Presbyterian Church USA. That's a long-standing part of the Reformed tradition of Christianity. So we are of the lineage of John Calvin coming out of the Protestant Reformation. We, at least theoretically, believe in predestination, total depravity, and the perseverance of the saints. But most importantly, for Presbyterians, I would argue the most important Presbyterian distinctive is not a doctrinal difference, but a governmental one, a polity difference. Presbyterians don't trust anyone because we're all totally depraved. And so we came into existence during a time when the monarch of England was misbehaving and abusing people with her religious authority, and we decided, man, we should not give absolute power to any of these sinful, fallen, broken human beings, and not even absolute power over a church. And so we came up with this sweet idea called 3 branches of government, where, yeah, we still have a pastor, but he's kind of an executive head, and then we've got other people who provide checks and balances to the pastor. So we're leadership by committee, and that's what Presbyterian means, rule by elders. This idea was then later ripped off by the U.S. federal government because, of course, the United States was colonized chiefly by Presbyterians, but at the time they were more popularly known as Puritans, and we are where we are today. So it's a great church if you want to look at our church track record of abuse by clergy. You just don't see the same level of like Presbyterian preachers who are outed by their crack-dealing prostitutes because they're closeted homosexuals. Because we do background checks and we check and we trust and or we fail to trust. We trust but verify. With that said, the PCUSA has been in the news lately because we do have some pastors who are homosexual, who are members of the LGBTQ community. I'm not one of them, but I am in fellowship with leaders that are, and I think those leaders have a wonderful opportunity to speak with a voice that hasn't been heard before and to reach people who haven't been reached with their unique perspective on ministry. But that gets me in hot water with some people on the more conservative side that I fellowship and engage with those people. But I want to love everyone. That's me. With that said, my denominational affiliation doesn't really say everything about my flavor of Christianity or my flavor of Bible. I think another thing that's important to say about me is that I have what I would call a missional edge. I interpret the life of Christ, Christianity, to be chiefly oriented around the mission of God. I think that we as Christians are sent to fulfill the missio Dei, the mission of God, which is to make the world more like heaven, to create heaven on earth, to bring about the kingdom of God which exists now and not yet. And that puts me in kind of a different camp from some of the people who are very strong evangelicals, who would say the most important thing is to get people to pray the sinner's prayer and that they believe Jesus is Lord and they say those words. I want people to believe Jesus is Lord. I want people to pray the sinner's prayer, all of that. But that's the beginning of the story, not the end of the story. And it puts me in a different place than I think some Christians who maybe haven't thought through as much, but in practice, they seem to think the most important part of Christianity is church. Preserving and building the church and growing church membership and doing church a certain way. I think that the church, again, is the beginning of the story. That's a tool that we can use for the mission. Finally, talking about the flavor of God. The mission, I should mention, has a lot of justice to it. It's a lot of social justice. That's become a bad word in some communities of late, but it's a Christian idea that the world should be good. The world should be the way God intended it to be. It shouldn't be racist. It shouldn't be oppressing the poor. It should be just and fair, and kids should always have enough to eat. And we want to do things to bring that about, to make the world a better place like that. Finally, nerdy. I think that really colors the flavor. That's, you know, if you swirl my bouquet around in your glass, you'll get a distinct air of nerdiness. I like to think. I like to think hard. I like to engage with unique ideas. I find it very important that Jesus did not ever ask us to think less and feel more, but that we are invited as a part of our Christian community to engage deeply with our whole brains and to believe in science and to believe in philosophy, that those things aren't threats to Christianity, but gifts to Christianity, and sometimes gifts of Christianity. So that's another aspect that really colors my personal flavor of Bible. If this answers your question, Worldwide Fairness, I hope that you will share it. If you are another person watching besides Worldwide Fairness and you think this was a interesting answer, I hope you'll share this video, or maybe consider sharing another one. If you don't want to share this one, you don't think it speaks to you, but you like this ministry and you want it to grow, then please share one of the videos. That's the way that we get new people who ask questions and receive answers, and it's the way you get more interesting questions asked that you can watch me answer. Of course, another way for you to get an interesting question to watch me answer is for you to ask me an interesting question. So send me a comment down here with an interesting question, and I will do my best to answer it. Thank you.